In the spring of 1944, the skies over Romania became a battleground for air superiority, as Allied forces targeted the vital Ploiești oil fields, responsible for supplying nearly 60% of Nazi Germany's crude oil. Among the chaos of B-17 bombers and P-51 Mustang escorts, a young German pilot named Erich Hartmann carved his name into aviation history. This is the story of the deadliest fighter ace of all time, whose legacy stretches from the flak-filled skies of World War II to the halls of post-war justice. It's the spring of 1944. Over Romania's oil-rich terrain, waves of American B-17 flying fortresses thunder toward their target, the Ploiești oil fields, a critical asset for the Nazi war effort. To protect the bombers, P-51 Mustangs, affectionately known as the Cadillac of the sky, soar alongside them in tight formation. But the Americans are not alone. From above, German Bf-109 fighters dive into view. The call of bandits rings out over American radios. A furious dogfight erupts. The faster, more agile Mustangs break off to shield the vulnerable bombers. In the heat of battle, one Mustang pilot lines up a shot on a Bf-109 only to be caught off guard by another German fighter. At just 100 yards, it opens fire. The Mustang explodes mid-air, disintegrating in a trail of smoke. The victorious Bf-109, bearing a distinctive red heart insignia, wastes no time. Its pilot locks onto another Mustang, firing with lethal precision and sending a second American aircraft to the ground in flames. The American pilots quickly recognize the threat, and 8 P-51s converge on the lone German, peppering him with machine gun fire. Yet the German ace evades them with masterful turns and evasive maneuvers. Inside the cockpit, a red light flashes fuel is critically low. The pilot has pushed his aircraft to the limit. As the engine sputters, he bails out, his parachute deploys, and he drifts earthward. One Mustang circles back seemingly for a final strike. But instead of bullets, the American pilot offers a salute. The code of chivalry among fighter pilots, even in war, remains intact. The man descending by parachute is Erich Hartmann, the deadliest fighter pilot in history. With 352 confirmed kills, Hartmann remains the most successful fighter ace of all time. Most of his victories came against the Soviet Air Force on the Eastern Front, where he faced overwhelming odds on a daily basis. In one extraordinary episode in 1944, Hartmann flew 2 consecutive missions and downed 11 enemy aircraft in a single day. He often flew against superior numbers, navigating bursts of anti-aircraft fire, dogfights with Soviet yaks, and fields of flak. One of his closest brushes with death, however, came not from enemy fire, but from mistaken identity. As Soviet forces advanced toward his unit's base, JG-52, Hartmann was ordered to take off with 7 other pilots to intercept incoming aircraft. They encountered a staggering formation of 40 Stormovik bombers, flanked by as many Soviet fighters. Hartmann dove in first, striking from above. True to his style, he crept behind his targets, aiming just beneath the tail. A quick burst and Soviet planes burst into flames, one after another. Then, disaster. His engine failed mid-combat. Smoke billowed, forcing him to crash land in a field of sunflowers. As he emerged from the cockpit, a truck approached. Expecting German rescue, he was instead met by Soviet soldiers in a captured vehicle. Knowing capture was imminent, Hartmann feigned injury, tricking them into placing him on a stretcher. As the truck moved deeper into Soviet-held territory, the roar of German Stuka dive bombers provided a distraction. Hartmann sprang from the stretcher, knocked a guard to the ground, and escaped into the night. Eventually, he reached German lines only to be challenged by a sentry who, not recognizing him, fired and tore through his trousers. Hartmann narrowly avoided a tragic end at the hands of his own countrymen. After tense interrogations and a sleepless night in a foxhole, his identity was confirmed, and he returned to base. His final aerial victory, a Soviet Yak fighter, was recorded on May 8, 1945, near Brno. That same day, the war in Europe officially ended. Though Hartmann surrendered to the U.S. 90th Infantry Division, He and other members of JG-52 were handed over to the Soviet Union, who sought justice for the immense destruction wrought by German pilots. Hartmann was tried as a war criminal and sentenced to 25 years in Soviet prison and labor camps. In 1955, after a West German-Soviet diplomatic agreement, he was released. He went on to serve in the West German Air Force, eventually retiring as a colonel in 1970. He continued flying as an instructor and reunited often with fellow veterans. Hartmann passed away on September 20th, 1993. 4 years later, in 1997, the Russian Federation posthumously overturned his war crimes conviction, formally clearing his name. Erich Hartmann's story is one of extraordinary skill, resilience, and survival. A symbol of both the brutal intensity and strange honor of aerial warfare, his legacy continues to captivate aviation and history enthusiasts alike. If you enjoyed this story, be sure to subscribe to our channel and explore more gripping World War II histories. Thank you for watching.